Welcome everyone to Better Talk English, where we help you improve your English in a natural and practical way through real conversations. Today we are talking about weekends, which is one of the most enjoyable parts of the week for most people around the world. I'm really happy to start this conversation with you, William.
Thank you, Victoria, and hello to all our listeners who are joining us today. Weekends really feel like a reward after a long and busy week of work or study. I usually feel a big sense of relief when Friday evening arrives.
I completely understand that feeling because Friday evening almost feels like a door opening to freedom and rest. For me, weekends are the time when I can finally slow down and focus on myself. I try not to rush anything during those 2 days.
That is a great approach because many people forget that weekends are meant for recovery and not pressure. I personally like to sleep a little longer on Saturdays because it helps me recharge my energy. After that, I usually feel much more productive.
Sleeping longer on weekends is something I also enjoy, especially when I don't have to set an alarm early in the morning. It makes the whole day feel calmer and more relaxed from the beginning. I also like having a slow breakfast without rushing anywhere.
A slow breakfast really changes the mood of the whole day in a positive way. I usually make coffee and sit quietly for a while before checking my phone or planning anything. That small moment of peace makes a big difference for me.
I think many people underestimate how important those quiet moments are for mental rest and emotional balance. Even a few minutes of calm can completely change how the rest of the day feels. On weekends, I try to protect that peaceful time as much as possible.
I agree with you because weekends should not feel like an extension of work or stress. Sometimes I avoid making strict plans so I can stay flexible and enjoy the moment. That way I feel more free and less pressured.
Being flexible is a great idea because it allows you to enjoy unexpected opportunities that might appear during the day. For example, sometimes friends invite me out suddenly and it becomes the highlight of my weekend. I like those unplanned moments the most.
Unplanned moments often become the best memories because they feel natural and spontaneous. I also enjoy going for walks without a fixed destination and just seeing where I end up. It helps me clear my mind and think more clearly.
Walking without a destination sounds very peaceful and almost like a form of meditation in motion. I also enjoy listening to music or podcasts while walking because it makes the experience even more relaxing. It feels like I am learning and relaxing at the same time.
That is a very good combination because you are both relaxing your body and feeding your mind with something useful. On weekends, I also like watching movies or series that I didn't have time for during the week. It feels like a small reward for my effort.
I do exactly the same thing because watching something interesting on the weekend feels like a personal celebration. I usually choose light or funny shows because they help me relax more easily. It's a simple way to recharge emotionally.
Comedy or light entertainment is definitely perfect for weekends because it reduces stress and improves mood. I also think weekends are a good time to reconnect with friends and family. Even a short conversation can make a big difference.
Yes, spending time with people you care about is very important because it strengthens relationships and brings emotional support. I try to meet at least one friend or family member during the weekend. Those moments usually stay in my memory for a long time.
Social connection is something people often forget during busy weekdays, but weekends give us the chance to fix that. I sometimes go out for coffee or lunch with friends just to talk and relax together. It feels simple but very meaningful.
I agree because even simple activities like coffee conversations can feel very special when you're not in a rush. Weekends are also a great time for hobbies and personal interests. I sometimes spend time reading or trying new recipes at home.
Hobbies are extremely important because they give us a sense of joy outside of work or responsibilities. I personally enjoy gaming or reading depending on my mood during the weekend. It helps me disconnect from stress and enjoy myself.
That balance between rest and enjoyment is exactly what makes weekends so valuable for mental health. Even small activities can feel meaningful when you are fully present in them. I think people should try to appreciate weekends more consciously.
I completely agree with you, Victoria, because weekends are not just free time but also a chance to reset your mind and body. When we use them wisely, we feel more prepared for the next week. And I think this is a great place to continue our conversation in the next part.
When I think more about weekends, I realize that they're not just about resting, but also about doing things that bring real happiness and balance into life. Sometimes people forget that even small activities can completely change their mood if they enjoy them fully. That is why I try to be intentional with how I spend my weekend time.
That is a very good point because many people treat weekends like just free time without thinking about how to use it meaningfully. I also try to do at least one thing that feels productive, even if it's something small like organizing my room or planning my week. It helps me feel more in control when Monday comes.
Organizing your space is actually a very powerful habit because it can affect your mental clarity and reduce stress without much effort. I also notice that when my environment is clean, I feel more relaxed and motivated. Even a small cleaning session can improve the whole weekend atmosphere.
Exactly, and it's interesting how physical space and mental space are connected in that way. I sometimes also use weekends to learn something new, like practicing English or watching educational videos. It makes me feel like I'm improving myself while still resting.
Learning something new on weekends is a great idea because it doesn't feel as stressful as during weekdays. I also enjoy listening to English content or practicing speaking when I have free time. It helps me stay consistent without pressure.
Consistency is really important in language learning because small, regular practice is more effective than long, irregular sessions. I think weekends are perfect for that kind of relaxed learning environment. You can focus without feeling rushed or tired.
Yes, and when learning feels relaxed, it becomes more enjoyable and easier to continue long term. I sometimes even combine learning with hobbies, like watching English movies with subtitles. That way I learn and enjoy at the same time.
That is a smart method because it keeps motivation high while still being educational. I also think weekends are a good time to reflect on the past week and think about what went well or what can be improved. It gives a sense of direction.
Reflection is something many people ignore, but it's actually very helpful for personal growth and emotional balance. I like to think about what made me happy during the week and what I can change next time. It makes me feel more aware of my own life.
Being aware of your habits and emotions helps you make better decisions in the future without repeating the same mistakes. I usually take a few minutes on Sunday evening to mentally prepare for the next week. It gives me a calm transition into Monday.
Sunday evenings can sometimes feel a little emotional because the weekend is ending, but I try to use that time in a positive way. I like to do something relaxing, like reading or listening to calm music. It helps me enter the new week with a peaceful mind.
I understand that feeling because Sunday night is often a mix of relaxation and preparation at the same time. I try not to stress too much and instead focus on planning just a few important tasks for Monday. That way, I don't feel overwhelmed.
Planning only a few tasks is actually a very smart strategy because it keeps expectations realistic and manageable. I also think it's important to sleep early on Sundays so Monday doesn't feel too heavy. Good rest makes a big difference in productivity.
Sleep is definitely one of the most important factors for starting the week well. When I sleep properly, I feel more focused and energetic the next day. That's why I try to avoid heavy activities late on Sunday.
Avoiding heavy activities is a good idea because it allows the mind and body to slow down naturally before the new week begins. I usually prefer calm activities like watching something light or preparing simple food. It helps me feel balanced.
Simple routines are often the most effective because they reduce stress and keep things under control. I also think weekends are a great opportunity to practice gratitude and appreciate what we already have in life. That mindset can improve overall happiness.
Gratitude is very powerful because it shifts your focus from problems to positive things in your life. Sometimes I think about the people I'm grateful for or the opportunities I have. It always makes me feel more peaceful.
That is a very healthy habit because it builds a positive mindset over time without any extra effort. I also believe that weekends are a good time to disconnect from stress and reconnect with yourself. It helps you understand your own needs better.
Reconnecting with yourself is something many people forget in their busy daily lives, but weekends give us the perfect opportunity to do it. I try to listen to my feelings and understand what my body and mind need. It helps me stay balanced.
I completely agree, Victoria, because understanding yourself is the foundation of a healthy and stable life. When we use weekends wisely, we not only rest but also grow emotionally and mentally. And I think this is a perfect place to continue into the final part of our conversation.
As we continue talking about weekends, I think one of the most important things is learning how to truly disconnect from work or study pressure. Many people stay mentally attached to their responsibilities even when they are supposed to be resting. I try to remind myself that rest is not wasted time but necessary for a healthy life.
That is very true because without real rest, the mind never fully recovers and we start the next week already feeling tired. I also struggle sometimes with thinking about tasks during weekends, but I am learning to let go more. It takes practice to truly relax without guilt.
Letting go of guilt is definitely not easy, especially in today's fast-paced world where people always feel like they should be doing something productive. But I think productivity also includes rest because it helps you perform better later. When I accept that, I enjoy weekends much more.
I completely agree because rest actually improves focus, creativity, and motivation when the new week begins. I notice that on weekends when I truly relax, I work much better on Monday. It feels like my mind resets completely.
That reset feeling is exactly what makes weekends so valuable and necessary for everyone. I also think people should design their weekends in a way that matches their personality instead of following strict rules. Everyone relaxes differently, and that is okay.
Yes, some people prefer being active, going outside, or traveling, while others prefer staying home and resting quietly. I personally enjoy a mix of both, depending on my energy level. Flexibility is what makes weekends enjoyable.
Having a balance between activity and rest is important because too much of either one can feel unfulfilling. I like to plan just one or two main things and leave the rest open. That gives me structure without pressure.
That is a very smart approach because it keeps the weekend simple and stress-free. I also think technology plays a big role in how people spend their weekends today. Sometimes it helps, but sometimes it also distracts us too much.
Yes, social media and phones can easily take away a lot of time if we are not careful. I try to set limits so I don't spend the whole weekend scrolling without purpose. Instead, I focus on real life activities that make me feel better.
Setting limits is important because it helps us stay present in the moment instead of constantly comparing ourselves to others online. I sometimes even turn off notifications during the weekend to fully disconnect. That simple action makes a big difference.
Disconnecting from constant notifications really helps reduce stress and improve focus on real life experiences. I also enjoy spending time outdoors when the weather is nice because it refreshes my energy. Nature has a very calming effect on the mind.
Nature is definitely one of the best ways to recharge because it feels peaceful and natural. Even a short time outside can improve mood and reduce stress levels. I try to do that at least once every weekend if possible.
Another thing I like about weekends is having time to prepare myself mentally for the upcoming week in a calm way. Instead of worrying, I try to organize my thoughts and priorities. That makes Mondays feel less stressful.
That kind of preparation is really helpful because it creates a smooth transition into the new week. I also like writing down small goals so I know what to focus on. It keeps me motivated and organized.
Writing goals is a great habit because it turns vague thoughts into clear actions that are easier to follow. I think weekends are perfect for this kind of reflection and planning. It gives life more direction without pressure.
Exactly. And when we combine rest with reflection and light planning, weekends become much more meaningful. They aren't just days off, but opportunities for growth and balance. I think many people overlook that.
Yes, and I hope our listeners start to see weekends in a more intentional and positive way after this conversation. Even small changes in how you spend your time can make a big difference in your life. It's all about awareness.
I agree because awareness helps us make better choices without needing to change everything at once. Weekends are a great place to start building better habits slowly. Small steps always lead to long-term improvement.
Before we finish, I just want to say that I really enjoyed this conversation with you, William, and I hope our listeners found it helpful and interesting. Talking about weekends reminded me how important it is to rest and enjoy life. Thank you for being part of this episode.
Thank you, Victoria, and thank you to everyone listening to Better Talk English. We hope you now have new ideas on how to enjoy your weekends in a healthier and happier way. See you in the next episode, and take care of yourselves.